Alright, so this is your on-off switch right here. So to turn power on, you would do it just like that, and then get the conveyor started. All you have to do is just twist this to the start motion, and you'll see that your conveyor starts right here. Also on this box, you have your first emergency stop right here. So all you have to do is just press it, and then twist it to put everything back to normal. If you ever notice anything wrong, you have to hit the e-stop. Please notify your supervisor as soon as possible. So your second e-stop's right here. So when this conveyor is going, you'll notice that we have these gaps right here. So if anyone ever goes to stick their hands in there or they get their hands stuck in there, all you have to do is just pop this e-stop and it'll stop the belt immediately, and then twist it, and then power's back to it. Once again though, if you ever notice anything wrong, please notify your supervisor as soon as possible. Alright, so we're going to go over some of the hazards and safety guidelines for a conveyor. Some of the hazards you got to go with are right here on these pinch points. So if you ever you can get your hand in there, it can get rolled up in the belt, it can get rolled up in the motor. So some of the safeties is best if you just avoid putting your hands anywhere near these areas. And if you do notice something, is to hit the e-stop immediately. Alright, so we're going to go over some of the things for the Doughboy here. One of the first ones is the on-off button right here. Just do hit this to turn it on. Alright, some of the hazards with it, it does have a lot of heat with it, so you could get burned. There's also pinch points inside here. So under no circumstances should you ever lift this. If there's any issues going on in here, you should always notify your supervisor and let the proper people take care of it. There's also pinch points right here and back here that people get their fingers in and kind of get them all pinched up and stuff like that. So here's your emergency stop right here. Hit that. Do that. Release it. So this is our fin sealer. Some of the hazards you have with it are inside the machine. These heads right here are extremely hot, so try to avoid any kind of contact with them. You also have a knife inside the heads that's very sharp, so also try to avoid that. You also have pinch points up here, and with these rollers, you gotta try to keep your fingers outside of these rollers, because if you do, they will roll your fingers up inside the film, and you could get a pretty nasty injury from that. So this is your on-off switch right here. So to just get power to the machine, you just flip this on, off right here, and then this way would be on, so that you'll know that you'll have power to it when everything lights up. And this is how you would start the machine right here. Just press this to start the machine, and then press it again to stop it. Alright, this right here is your e-stop. Very simple, same as all the other e-stops. You punch it, stop the machine immediately, and twist it to release. If you ever notice anything wrong in there, something's jammed or anything like that, you would hit this e-stop and notify your supervisor immediately. Alright, so some of the PPE you're going to have to wear for this is gloves, because like I said before, this is extremely hot and we have a sharp knife in there. So if for whatever reason you have to grab a bag from down here, I recommend you wear gloves just to make sure that you don't get hurt or burned. Alright, so we're going to go over some of the things for the inkjetter. Some of the hazards with this, there's a lot of electricity running through the heads of these. So if this head's ever off or you see somebody trying to work on the head, don't put your fingers in there. Don't even come around and touch it, because you will get shocked. Some of the PPE for it, we recommend you wearing gloves, because otherwise you get the ink and all that other kind of nasty stuff all over your hands. Don't want makeup on it. The on-off switch is right here. You would just press it in. Once you see that it's encased, then you're good. It's on. Make sure the green light's on. And then when you press it again and turn it off, once these lights go off, you know it's off. Alright, so this is our label machine. There's not a whole lot to this. The on-off is right here. But if there's anything that needs to be shut off or anything like that, go get a supervisor or go get a maintenance personnel. Don't even try to play with this. Some of the hazards with it is there's a pinch point here. So you don't want to get your stuff all pinched off or anything like that, something like that. And that's basically it for the labeler. Alright, so I guess I have to cover some of the safety guidelines with this. Anytime you do any basic machine work, you should always have the e-stop pressed. just to make sure that no air's going, no glue's going, nothing like that. Some of the basic hazards you can have with the Superman machine right here is your hands can get caught in these pinch points. These arms do move, so they do, you can get your hands wedged in there, they can get pinched. Or if you're trying to do some work in here, you can touch the hot glue gun and get yourself burned. So we recommend that if you, any kind of PPE for it, you're going to have like gloves, just in case you touch one of those, you don't get yourself burned, or if you're dealing with some of the pods in there, you don't get any of that dust on your hands. So this is our on-off switch. In order just to turn it off, all you gotta do is just give it a quick little turn, and then turn it back on. Same thing. Alright, so this is the E-stop right here. So just to operate, all you have to do is just press it in, and then twist it, turn it out. Now if you ever see any problems in there, that is what you would hit. You just pop the E-stop and then notify your supervisor. Alright, so this is the Aries machine. We're going to kind of go over a few things with it. The first thing is here's your E-stop. Just give it a quick press, and that will shut the machine down. Also, we have a safety switch in here, so that if you ever open this door, it'll shut down the machine. Both are shown here. Now, a couple of the hazards with the machine are the first ones right here, are these arms. They're a pinch point. We have a knife in there that's a cutting hazard. And then we have a pinch point right in here with these rollers. So if you ever see any issues with the machine, go ahead and hit the E-stop and then notify your supervisor as soon as possible. Alright, this is the on-off switch right here. So to turn your conveyor on, you're supposed to green one right here. We'll start it up. Red one to shut it off. Now if you have any issues, say someone gets their hand stuck or anything like that, you immediately press this and then notify your supervisor as soon as something happens. Alright, so to go over some of the hazardous spots on these tapers, the first and obvious one is the knife right here. So you don't ever want to get your hands inside this knife because it is sharp and you will cut yourself. And some of the others are the pinch points up here. You can get your hand wedged in there, and then obviously right here by the conveyor, if you get your hand stuck, if you get your hands in there, it will roll. The belt will roll your fingers up in there. So just try to avoid any of these points. Like I said, the knife up here and over here by the rollers. Required PPE for this is if you ever have to get this knife clean, or when your supervisor has to get the knife clean, make sure they're always wearing gloves because this knife is sharp, and this way they can protect their hands. Alright, so I'm going to go over some hazardous guidelines for the heat tunnel here. So one of the biggest ones is your hands getting put in here. There's a lot of heat, gets up to about 300 degrees. So you do not want to stick your hands in there. You want to try to avoid even just touching the side of the machine because it gets very, very hot. So this is the on-off switch right here. So just to give it one good turn, we'll turn it on, and then turn the opposite way, we'll turn it off. So if you do, for whatever reason, have to get your hands in there to whether clean it out or not, so some recommended PPE for it would be to have gloves or some sleeves. This way, if you touch something inside there, you won't get burned. Alright, so we're going to go over the weigh scale machine over here at Juice Plus. Some of the hazards you'll have with it, we have pinch points all through these little grooves right here. You get your fingers stuck in there if you try to reach in there, so don't ever reach in there. So basically, start the machine. We have a start button right here. Just press start. It'll start your machine up. Stop to stop it. And to just kill the power to it, just give this a little turn. And that's all there is to it.